So a few days ago, the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer has released, and I'm very lukewarm on it, as I usually do for trailers. Even though I wasn't a big fan of them posting 1-second clips the day before the trailer, but that's just me. And my favorite YouTuber of all time, Ranting for Vengeance, decided to make a video on this. And I can already guess how he felt about the trailer due to him not liking the MCU Spider-Man at all. And also him making other videos surrounding Brand New Day before the trailer was even released. Yeah. And it's also one of the reasons that this will be the last video on this kid on this channel. Because not only he's super predictable, but his content is mostly the same with the same talking points almost every time. And as for this video, it's not the worst video I covered. I mean, Andy Pants' extremely misogynistic rant of how video games quote-unquote hate men is very hard to beat. But it's a video that I lost the most brain cells on. I mean, Ranting for Vengeance is one of the last people I take seriously, but bro, you are not ready for this.
Spider-Man Brand New Day is the most retarded piece of shit I've seen in a very long time. Somehow 4 movies into Tom Holland's run as Spider-Man still has him falling around the place, acting like a complete handicap.
Wow, Spider-Man getting hurt. It's gonna be the worst shit ever, guys.
Even with 4 movies and a new universe under his belt, this guy still manages to be the biggest cock known to man.
Even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and just because they shittily recreated some classic comic covers doesn't make this absolute cinema anywhere near good. Especially for the people who are hyping this up and saying that it's amazing. You haven't read any of the comics that they're referencing.
This is such a dumb point. I can sense a pretentious little stinker when he says stuff like, oh, have you actually read the comics? Which, by the way, it is not mandatory to do comic book homework to understand comic book adaptations or movies. For example, with Ant-Man, I do not need to read Ant-Man comics to understand Ant-Man movies. It's either good or shit. The first one is pretty good, but the third one is kind of shit.
And also, ignoring all of that, it just looks like it was made by AI for spastics on Twitter who eat up every single piece of goy slop they get fed.
First of all, you saying goy slop unironically, I actually had to look that up, and yeah, he's just saying shit. And second of all, I have a tweet basically explaining it, but people saying, oh, this looks like AI, is a growing pet peeve of mine when it comes to criticism. Because I find these criticisms to be very sloppy, doesn't tell us shit, it sends a message that your efforts isn't even worth a damn if it's getting compared to AI.
But before we get into it, if you like these type of videos and if you want to help out the channel, maybe consider subscribing or supporting me over on Patreon. And if you're somebody who's hate watching this video, then just know that it's not rage bait, it's not lying, it's not misinformation. This isn't coming from somebody who doesn't read comic books. This is just the truth. That Spider-Man Brand New Day isn't comic accurate, it's not a good Spider-Man movie, and it does so many things that go against the entire Marvel universe, Spider-Man as a character, and superheroes in general, so it can't be accepted than anything else other than just plain garbage.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
So apparently this kid can see the future now? Well, damn, I did not know that. I didn't know that Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be garbage just by this one trailer. Which I'm sensing that if this movie actually comes out, this kid is going to make a video similar to this. Like, his content is so damn predictable. I'm just going to say this straight up. If you think Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be that garbage based on those trailers alone, I have a suggestion. Do not watch it. But I think that's asking way too much for this kid.
Any real fan of Spider-Man would reject this bullshit on the spot.
Depends who you mean by real.
Stop trying to nostalgia bait people and pull them in because you recreated Spider-Man's first cover. How about you actually adapt Amazing Fantasy number 15 and then you'd have a good movie on your hands and not whatever the fuck Spider-Cuck is meant to be here.
So apparently this comic book is supposed to be Spider-Man's origin story. You could have told that to the MCU developers back in the 2010s, but you're in your single digits back then, so that's impossible.
So this isn't going to be some 20-minute video because we already know the deal with this movie. It looks like the biggest piece of shit known to man, made by Grok in an afternoon.
I'm sensing that he saw those hate tweets and then just put them into this video.
But as you expect, it has all of the NPCs who don't read comic books and have definitely never read these Spider-Man comic books and are just eating this up because it's a brand new Marvel product that they need to love and it can't be anything other than a 10 out of 10.
That is simultaneously a hyperbole and a straw man. I feel like not only for Ranting for Vengeance, but other anti-woke YouTubers like him, I feel like they're allergic to seeing people being hype about something that they aren't hype at all, so they have to antagonize these people as much as they can. That's why I hate hearing the word shill coming out of these people's mouths.
And before I continue, that's a little message for the type of people who love this stuff and attack people who have any different opinion. And attack people who have any different opinion. And attack people who have any different opinion.
Perverts like you.
King Von once said, "End gun violence."
You know, you can just turn around and say, Spider-Man Brand New Day doesn't look nearly as good as any other Spider-Man movie ever made. And it kind of looks mediocre. You don't have to say that you hate it. You don't have to say that it looks garbage or political. You could just say that it's not really that great. Because being objective, that's what this movie is.
So here's the thing about this dumb-ass pretentious mindset, is that their viewing on quality is the ultimate and objective way of viewing quality, and anyone else that challenged that is objectively wrong. Like if I say that something is mediocre, that's mostly my subjective viewing on things, nothing really objective with it. And even if Brand New Day has some objective flaws that hurts the film, this video is hilariously awful when it comes to honesty.
No matter what way you look at it, it's a complete failure in writing.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
And as a Spider-Man movie. The only good Spider-Man movies ever made that were comic accurate and objectively the best were Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. It wasn't the Christopher Nolan Amazing Spider-Man 1.
I am not too sure what he meant by that. Is he implying that the Amazing Spider-Man films are like Christopher Nolan films? Or did he mistakenly forgot who directed those films? Even so, it doesn't make any sense.
And it wasn't the cringe race swap rom-com music video that was the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And by God, was it not Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse, because those aren't Spider-Man movies. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miles Morales is a kid from the hood. Miles Morales is a kid from the hood.
Miles Morales is a kid from the hood.
Miles Morales is a kid from the hood.
I just don't get it, though.
This is the shit that I'm talking about when it comes to his honesty. I mean, it's no secret he has a grudge against black people. But like, didn't he say something about being objective a minute or two ago? And now he's just stereotyping Miles Morales? I don't know if anyone needs to hear this, but not every black people is from the hood. If you objectively think black people is like that, I think that's on you, my man. And he wonders why so many videos are made about him. And here's the thing about Ranting for Vengeance. He doesn't make these videos because he actually believes the shit he's saying. He makes these videos for our entertainment and content. And that's basically what he is, a life hack to make content out of.
Which in every iteration never fails to be political, obnoxious, and retarded. But anyways, moving back to Spider-Man Brand New Day, I can't believe it, they recreated the first Spider-Man cover. How about you actually read that comic and then you'll realize why the movie looks garbage. Read any issue from the Steve Ditko Spider-Man run and it'll debunk any leftist on Twitter and every single Spider-Man movie that followed. Except the Sam Raimi ones, which took inspiration from the original and best Steve Ditko Spider-Man comics. That's one thing I'll say, I'm not a Spider-Man expert. I haven't read every single era and every single comic.
Then why the fuck you're talking like you speak for the wheel of the wheel Spider-Man fans? And also, what if someone is really like that for Spider-Man and actually likes this movie? That just shuts down like 50% of what you said so far.
but I have read the Steve Ditko stuff, which I love. Any person that knows anything about comics knows that the Steve Ditko run is the only one really worth a shit.
Okay, everyone. According to Ranting for Vengeance, the only qualifier to be a real Spider-Man fan is to read these comics, and these comics only. The rest of the comic ones out there, they don't exist.
Even the annoying Marxist himself, Alan Moore, thought the exact same thing. And sorry to break it to you, Steve Ditko created Spider-Man, and by no means was he a leftist or a Marxist or Jewish. Which kind of sounds weird, but trust me, there's a lot of people out there that believe that Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is a Jewish communist.
Jewish communist, bro? Alright, man. Alright, bro. What are we doing? Oh my god, bro. This kid, dude. What on earth is this?
Which there's just so many contradictions. Like, didn't Aunt May and Uncle Ben get buried in a graveyard? And didn't Spider-Man ask for consent before kissing Mary Jane? Just small stuff like that. Like, Spider-Man crawls on walls and buildings. He doesn't really crawl in sewers. So he can't really be Jewish, right?
How is that a Jewish only thing? What? This kid, dude. I don't fucking know, bro.
But I'll move on from that very quickly. All you need to know is that Spider-Man Peter Parker can't be Jewish, because when he's swinging around saving the day, helping some children out, he actually returns them home. He doesn't bring them to an island and...
Outside of the lack of gameplay, outside of his grating voice, outside of his terrible editing, is the fact that he's unfunny, alright? This is what Andy Pants' style of humor is.
Because when he's swinging around saving the day, helping some children out, he actually returns them home. He doesn't bring them to an island and...
Well, that answers my questions. And that makes it even more worse. And I don't know what's more telling, the fact that he generalizes Jewish people of being sex violators because of Jeffrey Epstein being one of the most prolific sex offenders out there, or him implying that those unthinkable acts can only be done by Jewish people. All I'm gonna say is, just because Jeffrey Epstein was a dangerous sex offender doesn't mean that almost every Jewish people out there has to be dangerous sex offenders, or whatever the fuck he's trying to apply.
So yeah, my point on Amazing Fantasy is that, oh yeah, nobody's read it, so why are you celebrating this?
Well, that's a strong man from hell. Did you read the comics? I don't think so. Why are you excited by this? Like, why you care this much of people pointing this shit out, bro?
These two comics right here were also referenced and look 10 times better on the comic cover than they do in the CGI slop that is this trailer. And I'll be upfront, I haven't read these two comics. I'm really not a fan of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man. I tried reading it. It's really just not good, like anything made by Todd McFarlane.
Again, it's funny how you say shit like that and then speak for like the try-hard Spider-Man fans.
I don't really know anything about the other one, but I'm not really shocked that you managed to create just a pose of Spider-Man crawling on a wall. Well done. You could have done that for like 40 fucking years. But we're supposed to celebrate it now when you include one slow motion shot. How about you adapt an actual storyline from a Spider-Man comic and don't just make little references in slow motion shots that nobody even knows what they're from.
I generally feel like what his life is outside of just recording stuff. Like, bro, the main character syndrome is weakening on this guy. Like, dude, you're just one guy. Get a grip.
You see here Spider-Man learning to use his powers again because now he has organic webs. For some weird reason, it makes zero sense and it's a complete de-evolution of his character arc. And I don't even know why I'm using the phrase character arc, because Tom Holland's Spider-Man doesn't have one. He started off as a kid trying to learn how to use his powers and eventually he got the hang of it. Oh wait, he didn't. He's still falling around on the ground like a spastic.
So Tom Holland's Spider-Man doesn't have a character arc simply because of his powers?
What the fuck?
Like, bro, let's not pretend that we are talking about the same Peter Parker who chooses to, like, make everyone forget whose Peter Parker existence is. And I think that alone is, like, some part of his character arc.
And running around after fake black MJ.
Nice flowers.
Oh, they're a housewarming gift.
I'm MJ. I'm MJ.
I'm sensing more and more and more that the only way for him to like these movies is for it to be 100% comic accurate, and not just any comic, the comics that he likes. Other than that, it's just fucking garbage.
See, with classic 80s badass comic characters like Spider-Man and Daredevil, when they couldn't get with their main chick, they usually had somebody else like Black Widow, Elektra, Black Cat. Except Tom Holland doesn't have any of that. So basically, he's a cuck. Just like in the modern garbage Spider-Man comics, Peter Parker has to sit there and watch MJ go out with black dudes.
This is unrelated to what Ranting for Vengeance is saying, but I've seen this dude a couple of times on Twitter, and my lord, I don't trust that guy at all.
Superhero movies and superheroes in general try to relate to their audience, and now this kind of makes sense, because back with Tobey Maguire, he might miss a date with MJ and it might mess up his relationship, and the people watching could relate to that because they actually had relationships in real life. Now Spider-Man is a cuck to black MJ and her black boyfriend, and I think everybody in the audience of Spider-Man Brand New Day enjoying it can relate to that.
It's been a couple minutes now, and I'm still quackling of what he just said. This guy is just saying shit now just to get pissed off, and that's about it.
Because you seriously have to be a pathetic piece of shit to actually get excited for something like Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I'm not dictating what people can like. I'm just saying, if you're a Spider-Man fan, and if you call yourself that, then you can't really like this movie. It's not me telling you you can't like it. It's basically just the years of comics with Spider-Man telling you it, that objectively, this isn't a Spider-Man movie.
And how right they are. It's hard to fight stupid with logic after all. It's hard to fight stupid with logic after all. It's hard to fight stupid with logic after all.
It's hard to fight stupid with logic after all.
Look, understand that people not being as hateful towards Brand New Day as much as you are is offensive to you, and I'm very sorry that offends you.
I'm very sorry that offends you.
But shit like this is a prime example of why so many people are making videos on him. Because first of all, why do you care this much about people getting excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and then calling them pathetic for that, and then backtracking just to save your own ass, only for you to say you cannot like this movie if you're a Spider-Man fan, and then backtrack to save your ass again? Which is very funny because at the beginning of the video, he said this.
That's a little message for the type of people who love this stuff and attack people who have any different opinion.
And then now he's doing exactly that. Like, bro, he just can't be on focus. Also, didn't you just say that you're not a Spider-Man expert? Why are you still acting like that you speak for the try-hard Spider-Man fans? I bet those Spider-Man fans could not take you seriously either with this shit that you've been saying in this video. And again, what if someone who is a diehard fan of Spider-Man actually likes Spider-Man Brand New Day? That alone just trashes like 50% of what you said in this video so far. And he wonders why so many people don't take him seriously. It's either that, or he's just playing a character, or it's just all an act. But since his father basically makes the same content, I should probably drop that theory and start calling for Irish CPS.
This tweet here is saying that Spider-Man fighting the hand is from some random comic that nobody read. And I can tell you right now what Spider-Man fighting the hand is. It's a middle finger in the face of every single Daredevil and Wolverine fan out there.
Oh my god, this is the shit I'm talking about. Where's the correlation? How is he going to make this about Daredevil and Wolverine?
Because anybody that knows anything about Marvel Comics knows that the hand is the enemy of Daredevil, Wolverine. Sure, the hand can fight other characters, but it's mainly Daredevil and Wolverine, and that's when they were best shown.
Just because the hand is fighting other characters other than Daredevil or Wolverine doesn't mean that it's an automatic middle finger to the people who are fans of those characters. It's like saying Kingpin from Into the Spider-Verse is a middle finger to Daredevil fans because Kingpin in that movie was fighting Spider-Man and not Daredevil.
two of the best comics ever made, which before you comment any hate comment, make sure you've actually read them. Frank Miller's Daredevil and Frank Miller's Wolverine. This shot of Spider-Man fighting the Hand is taken exactly from Frank Miller's Wolverine, issue 2 from 1982, where it was done way better and one of the best superhero stories ever told. And the same goes for Daredevil. The original Frank Miller Daredevil comic beats every single live-action superhero movie ever made. That's what being a fan of the comics is. It's turning around and saying that this excellent comic beats any garbage CGI slap movie. And if you want an example of the type of people who lose their mind over the brand new references to the comics which they haven't read, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They even got the attention to detail from the comics. This movie is going to be godlike because they recreated something which is easy to recreate. As I said, how about you actually adapt a good Spider-Man story instead of making something up that makes no sense? Like Spider-Man learning to use his powers after 4 movies of this crap.
I feel like if the Iron Man movies were made today, he would have hated the shit out of it. Because of him complaining about superheroes still learning new stuff about their powers. Even though Spider-Man's powers and Tony Stark building more advanced Iron Man suits are very different, I think you guys get the point.
This exact same guy that was losing his mind saying that it's comic accurate is trying to criticize Sam Raimi's Spider-Man fans because Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker sounds like a guy from the 1950s. Yeah, sorry to break it to you, but that's what Spider-Man and Peter Parker always was. And you're outing yourself as a tourist, a LARPer, and a fake fan.
Although that tweet was very weird for unrelated reasons, you have a big mouth of calling other people fake fans.
Like you've got room to talk.
Spider-Man is always meant to sound like he's from the 1950s, and anything else is a subversion and isn't Spider-Man. And speaking of subversions, I just have to get back to this guy again. He just makes everybody else just look like a complete idiot. Saying shit like anime is right-wing and Christian, and so is Spider-Man apparently. You're leaving yourself open to these people, and it's just gonna keep on happening when you don't know anything about the topic you're talking about. But saying that, I don't know which is worse. The guy saying that Spider-Man is a right-wing Christian, or the complete mental retards that think that Spider-Man is a Yiddish Jewish communist, and he's also gay somehow. So I don't really know how that works, but you should really take all of this gay shit back to whatever synagogue you come from. Once again, he's a Jewish leftist. Evidence? I need one piece of evidence, or are you just projecting?
I have to pause here to say, you're one of the last people to talk about evidence, while most of this video is basically one big trust me bro.
Very similar to gay people, certain people of certain ethnicities try to come in and say that Batman and Spider-Man are both Jewish. They're categorically and objectively not. This is just a fact that anybody that reads comic books knows. Peter Parker is just a nerd from New York City. He's not Trotsky, okay? And now we get on to one of the worst elements about this entire piece of shit, is the fact that they're taking from Japan, a much better country for superhero media. I've never really claimed to be a Spider-Man fan. I've always been more of a Devilman guy than a Spider-Man guy, because I'm not really a fan of Spider-Man's morals and just his character over the years.
Well, that's a self-report if I seen one. Let's be honest for a sec. With all the shit he's been spewing out in his channel, Spider-Man would have hated this guy.
So Japanese heroes like Devilman, Kamen Rider, and all of the other ones, compared to the American counterpart, is really different, and they should never ever coincide. But as we've seen with recent comics copying manga, it seems the movies are doing the exact same thing, where the iconic Rider kick is just blatantly ripped off in this garbage scene, which is once again a disgrace to Spider-Man and Kamen Rider, so it's bullshit to even reference it.
This kid's so hateful he doesn't even like the references on stuff that he likes.
It's sad. It's hilariously sad.
Oh yeah, and another thing about this scene is Frank Castle there, the Punisher. Holy shit, what the fuck is that Jufro up on top of your head? Since when has the Punisher had an afro? Since when is the Punisher some Jewish guy who says, let me tell you something over and over? Can somebody show me the comic page of the Punisher looking like this?
There is no fucking way this kid is actually this pressed over someone's hair.
Because John Bernthal has never been a good Punisher. He wasn't good in Daredevil. He definitely wasn't good in his own show, which wasn't even about him. It was instead about some random Muslim. But look at this slop scene, which is just CGI ripping off Kamen Rider with fake Punisher and fake Spider-Cock. I don't know how any Spider-Man fan, any comic book fan, any fan of Kamen Rider could turn around and say that this looks good.
And I think there are a lot of disingenuous people online that just want to hate on the film. They don't want to make it better, right? They want to hate on it.
Again, if you're this confident that this movie will be very bad, do not watch the damn movie. But I'm feeling that's just asking way too much from you. Like, dude, I am losing so many brain cells making this video at the same time watching this kid whine about shit. I might as well become a zombie after this.
That's the thing about shows like Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. They never had CGI, and they could do twice as more as any of these movies ever did. But I could go on for hours here talking about this movie, but I don't really want to. I'm really sick of Marvel slop that has no respect for comic books or the characters within them.
Then why on earth did you make this video?
The people who love this type of garbage think that Spider-Man is gay and Jewish. Do I need to even say anything more? So the verdict on Spider-Man Brand New Day is that it's CGI garbage slop, which has Spider-Man being cocked and not acting anything like Spider-Man. I think I covered it all there nicely. Oh wait, I forgot. Peter Parker is somehow a gay Jew. If you have any common sense and know that this is pure slop.
So apparently common sense is where you agree to this kid who just spews out absolute nonsense almost all the time.
Goodbye. And you've read the actual comic books of Spider-Man, do let me know and maybe consider subscribing. And if you're one of these woke, brain-dead fucking retards off of Twitter who thinks that Peter Parker and Spider-Man is a gay Jewish communist, then go complain to your boyfriend.
Outside of the lack of gameplay, outside of his grating voice, outside of his terrible editing, is the fact that he's unfunny.
So that's the end of the video. Again, not the worst video I've covered, but it's definitely the video that I lost the most brain cells out of, and that's basically all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna close it off here. What you guys think about this? And yeah, this is Forza Doing Prayer, and I'm out here. Peace.